practice, don't forget to unmute your microphone because you need to unmute to talk, yeah? Thank you.
To do better. I start again and fly up from the ground. You're with me more.
Those of you who are here, just sit tight. We'll be starting in a few minutes. Welcome, everyone.
Can't touch the clouds.
So we have translations for Korean, Chinese, Bahasa audiences. So please select from the interpretation feature if you need any. 안녕하세요. 한국어 번역이 있습니다. 한국어 채널을 선택하세요. 如果你需要中文翻译的话，请你选择中文频道。Jika perlu terjemahan bahasa Indonesia, sila pilih channel Rusia ya. Terima kasih.
Also, for those of you out there, please rename yourselves to your actual names, unless we really have people here who are named Apple or Samsung Galaxy. So please do also add in the country where you come from after your name. You can take a look at what myself and Teresa have done for reference. Also, to let you know that today's session is a webinar, therefore attendants are unable to use their microphones. However, we can still, today's session will also be streamed live on the EOC Asia Pacific Facebook. Again, sit tight. We'll be starting in a few minutes. All right, welcome everyone. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
And welcome to the official launch of the Economy of Communion Asia Pacific. Now, this event, again, like I mentioned earlier, is also being live streamed on the EOC Asia Pacific Facebook group. And my name is Jonathan, and I am from Singapore. And this is, next to me, Teresa from Malaysia. Now, it certainly is so nice, although I technically cannot see your faces right now, but so nice to have every one of you here with us. So some of you here might have been invited by a friend, but not given an explanation by a friend. Maybe your friend just told you, hey, just come along for something nice. So for those of you who might seem puzzled at this moment, don't worry, because we will definitely be sharing more about what the EOC Asia Pacific is all about.
Thank you, John. Hello, I'm Teresa Go from Malaysia. We are so happy, not to see you, but we know that everyone is here again after our last founding meeting on 13th of December. And there are also many new friends I heard who are also here from different walks of life. For example, entrepreneurs, businesses, nonprofit organizations, academicians, professionals, students, even retirees.
Yes, right now I think we're supposed to have more than 200 registered from 19 countries. My goodness, mamma mia, what a turnout. Now let's introduce, I'm going to tell you which countries we come from. I know we can't see everyone, but I'm going to just say where we all come from, right? Shall we? So as usual, what we always do is that we'll introduce people from the furthest reaches of the world to the nearest. So we've got participants coming from Brazil, from the United States, from the United Kingdom. We also have friends from Italy, Netherlands, Dubai, UAE, India, Nepal, Thailand, Vietnam, Myanmar, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, Australia, China, Taiwan, and Korea. Whoa, so many. That left me out of breath completely.
Wow, definitely. You see, we in Asia Pacific is one region. However, we are so different in faiths, cultures, languages, and so on and so forth, you name it. But today, we all come together as one big family of economy of communion, wanting to influence the economy of communion wherever we are in Asia Pacific or in the world to help the most vulnerable and needy ones. We wish to tell you so much about economy of communion, but like some commented during the last meeting, that economy of communion, EOC, is a calling, not just merely participation. It's not by chance that we are all gathered here today, and we are grateful to Kiara Lubick, UNESCO Peace Prize winner, who proposed this fair and inclusive economy based on love for the neighbors. So on this very special day, this launch of Economy of Communion Asia Pacific, we are here to mark our journey together to build a united world through Economy of Communion. So now let's walk down to the memory lane of the journey of EOC when Kiara first sparked the idea of the Economy of Communion in Sao Paulo, Brazil in 1991, and how it came and blossomed in Asia. Enjoy the video.
In 1991, Chiara Lubich, founder of the worldwide Focolare movement, visited her community in Brazil and witnessed the extreme inequality so apparent in the city of Sao Paulo. Chiara arrived at a novel idea: to start for-profit businesses that help people in need, create an environment that is more open to sharing, and increase the value of businesses. The Economy of Communion project is a new global reality. Businesses working together across borders to accomplish one thing: no one in need. 25 years after the founding of the Economy of Communion, the EOC global community gathers together to harvest the fruits of their labor and scatter new seeds of solidarity in the world's fastest growing economic region, Asia.
When Chiara arrived to Brazil, to Sao Paulo, looking at the poverty in a big city, the normal way of imagining a solution of that poverty was to start a fundraising project, a program, or maybe to create some charities or some foundations, because it's the normal way of addressing poverty. But Chiara addressed the companies because they understood that in order to change the capitalism, you have to change the basic institution of capitalism, that is company, business.
Through the Congress, many Asian EOC company owners shared their personal experience of how their ordinary businesses were sanctified by becoming working environments overflowing with the grace of authentic communion.
So we always give concern to our employees, our suppliers. We build good relationship with all our stakeholders. We build unity among the workers. All this actually takes extra efforts and, increase the costing. But at the end of the day, the unity between the workers actually maximize the efficiency. It's amazing that whenever we practice the culture of giving, we always get something in return.
In 2005, we faced our greatest challenge. Our factory burned down. I thought it was the end of our business. Zhongxingdang will not survive to celebrate its 50th anniversary. The next day, a miracle happened. Our employees came with a slogan: "The company under ashes, we will rebuild." We began the restoration. Our recovery operation that was supposed to last a month was completed in a week, and we were back in business.
This culture of giving is helping them to see that anyone can contribute, because giving is not about I give you something, it's reciprocity. The giving we're talking about is always reciprocal. So it's also recognizing that the other can give, that you have to recognize that they are able to give you and you have a lot to receive from them. Gift is already everywhere. When you have this kind of eyes, you discover that all the people are giving so much, and you just have to receive this gift and to reciprocate.
As they come in as a member of our family, we accept them as co-employee, support them, and treat them as normal individuals with no distinctions or markings that they are deaf. We notice that as days go by, our customers come to know that we have persons with disability working with us. Now, a lot of my colleagues in the business community and members of the Rotary Club, as well as those in the Chamber of Commerce, are already preparing to hire the deaf in their level of skills. With our experience, we are able to open the eyes of the community for persons with disability, for them to have dignity and earn the respect that they basically need.
So this is a very great difference between the philanthropy and EOC. There is no contact between the philanthropist and the poor people. Why? Because this contact means to become vulnerable, to open ourselves to the risk of contamination, to become fragile. But for this very reason, because we become fragile, because we become vulnerable, our help is really therapeutic and properly human. The EOC actors know that no one else can in fact free up the poor from misery except himself or herself. The EOC approach to poverty requires a logic of empowerment, of inclusion.
Asia can change the course of globalization by bringing about a unique kind of solidarity. It's unique because it will be borne out by that unique combination of pragmatism, hard work, collective resilience, but also a deep sense of the other, which only a long spiritual tradition of compassion and brotherhood can bring. The world has globalized Asia, but solidarity will make this globalization truly Asian.
The economic communion is alive because there are thousands of promoters. This is the secret. And everybody is the center, nobody is the periphery of the economic communion. Communion is the vocation of human beings. If we are not in communion with the other, our life doesn't flourish. The most beautiful way of living life is living in communion.
Unlike a consumeristic economy based on a culture of having, the economy of communion is the economy of giving. This could seem difficult, arduous, heroic, but it is not so because the human being made in the image of God who is love finds fulfillment precisely in loving, in giving. It is written in the DNA of every person.
So you must be wondering, how did EOC Asia Pacific come about? Since the EOC Asian Congress in 2016, which many of you have attended, many who believe in this idea of EOC by Chiara Lubich based on the love for neighbor, to shape a fair and inclusive economy for everyone. And we all want to do more to enhance this impact of EOC. So for the first time, we here all together, all of us, we organize ourselves as a region, one region, whole Asia Pacific, to include everybody, entrepreneurs, businesses, professionals, academia, nonprofit, public, youth, and even retirees, so that as one organization, we could amplify our impact, better prepare ourselves to face this new world of pandemic. If you've already, in your own ways, working towards building a united world through the economy, and also if you think that a neighbor in need is our challenge too, you are at the right place and with the right group. So please join us.
Absolutely, please join us. And who is EOC Asia Pacific? What is it? No, it is. Why are we here? It is to shape a regional movement to influence, this economy of communion in the Asia Pacific region. Now, what is a movement? Remember, see that word, that it is a movement, and a movement is always about being dynamic. We don't just sit. We are not static. We go ahead all the time. We reach out and we share what we have in any resources, in order to help people and so on. Never stop, right? So sometime in around December last year in 2020, right? Around 72 of us met up at the EOC Asia Pacific Founding Assembly. Remember that even though we are all founding members, it doesn't mean we know everything. That's why it's special for this movement, that we learn together, to make it meaningful and bring the impact of EOC to people around us. Now, this spirit of EOC goes beyond age, nationality, because we are all in it as one big family.
That is right, John. So the purpose of EOC Asia Pacific is to be a regional umbrella body for EOC to form, nurture viable EOC national cells to effectively influence an economy of communion in the Asia Pacific. EOC Asia Pacific will serve as a home for communities. So you're not doing this alone. We heard that Korea and the Philippines already have their councils, And these national cells are here to help other upcoming national cells to form and grow through our community spirit. And EOC Asia Pacific is at the service to support EOC cells in countries in the Asia Pacific.
And now, of course, like with any organization, right, we have, some principles as well. Now, the EOC Asia Pacific, shall be organized according to the principles of constant and mutual love, in true practice of communion, mutual giving, and with a preference, for the poor, by choosing to eliminate inequality as its goal. Now, the EOC Asia Pacific, right, founded on the principles of the economy of communion, initiated by Chiara Lubich in 1991, and further developed within the work of Mary the Focolare, a Catholic lay movement, whose specific aim is to bring about a united world. Now, the leaders are here to serve, and it is inclusive of all classes, you name it.
And we just mentioned that EOC will be a home throughout the whole Asia Pacific, which means everyone is welcome. And also, when we do things out of love, the only fruit that comes out is professionalism. And we also aim to deliver impact for the common good. So for now, EOC Asia Pacific is proposed to be registered initially in the Philippines.
Now, I think it's very, very important as well to remember these 3 points which characterize, this EOC, right? And always bear this in mind. Impact. How can we go ahead? How do we bring about this spirit of the EOC? And what is it to be inclusive, which means language, race, religion, even company size, from the smallest to the biggest organizations, we are all inclusive. Memberships are also open to students, academics, and even retirees, because remember, everyone has something to contribute to the present and for the future. Now, this is what we mean when we say an economy for all. And to influence is for you to go out and share in whatever way you know best. Snail mail to Insta stories to TikTok, right? Go out and share, right? So a teaser, we have a special guest section later based on true stories to help you dive deeper into this point. So definitely stay with us, stay tuned with us here.
Yes, definitely. I'm very excited about that one. But before that, let me tell you about the 4 pillars are always there to drive our purpose as a regional umbrella body for EOC Asia Pacific. So they include formation for the application of EOC principles for individuals and corporate level. And then mutual givings and sharing to the preferences of the poor. And then lastly, we influence the leaders, the stakeholders of economy, share with them the principle of EOC, economy of communion, so that they can also influence the economy of communion. How about the concrete supporting activities then, John?
So what kind of concrete activities can we expect, right? So founding members, right, have the financial and capacity to support, right? So we also open up, we have a broad membership, with this large pool of members. We'll move into things like online formation, this accreditation system that we are planning to have as well. And also we want to have, parts where we can aid, a delivery service for, companies, whether we have events and awards and other fundraising activities as well. So there's a lot of exciting things moving ahead. So we really can't wait for everyone to join us on this for sure. So now let's look at the timeline, right? We've had our founding assembly and board meeting, and today that you're all part of is this official launch, right? The membership form link has already been sent up, but don't worry, we'll send it out again to you after this because we don't want you to miss out, definitely. And coming up next, right, is the EOC Asia Pacific Congress, which is coming up in May 2021. And this will mark the 30th anniversary of the founding of the economy of communion. So this is your chance to really be a part of a new milestone for us, right? So by then we would have confirmed the statutes, the presidents, co-presidents, and the council as well. They will all be elected by that time.
So we hope you now have a brief and yet clearer idea about EOC Asia Pacific. And we really can't wait to join hands with you in shaping this regional movement to influence an economy of communion in the Asia Pacific.
And so it's also very important that, like we mentioned, sharing is very crucial for us because this is where we can learn from each other. And like I mentioned, we always learn best through one's experience and for us to share it as well. So first of all, we have Mose Park from South Korea who will share his experience on how he lives as an EOC company and the impact it creates. Take it away. Enjoy, everyone, with this sharing.
And my name is Stefan. I'm going to lead you through for Mose Park. Here's a picture for him. The title is Living as an EOC Enterprise. I'm an artist belonging to a cooperative which is practicing EOC principles. Around 6 years ago, I moved into my current workshop located in a small alley in Daegu City. This alley
what now? Sekarang gimana?
Hello? This alley has been the workplace for many makers of handmade shoes for more than 100 years. There were around 40 elderly craftsmen who had been making shoes in a dilapidated environment for their entire lives. I learned that their dream was to train people so that they may pass on their experiences, techniques about making shoes by hand to the next generation. Since then, I became preoccupied with how we can make their dream come true. Following consultation with shoemakers, our cooperative first developed training programs setting out the shoemaking process and the relevant curriculums. After having developed the training programs, we sought financial assistance from government institutes to fulfill their dream. Fortunately, we were able to set up a national project and receive the support, not only for the financial aids for the modernized equipment, but also for the space for training classes. Later, we successfully established the Academy for the crafting handmade shoes, consisting of 40 weeks long curriculums, thus fulfilling the collective dreams of elderly craftsmen. This achievement was brought about through cross collaboration with young social ventures in tourism, cooperative of artists, village enterprises, as well as social enterprises. In addition, we were also awarded the investment project sponsored by a large conglomerate which is interested in reviving and promoting the values of local districts. At present, we are receiving numerous requests from other local government offices which wish to initiate their own projects for revitalizing local markets economically and for reviving old neighborhoods through regeneration and development of local contents. Last year, we were selected by the Ministry of Culture and Tourism as one of the Korea top 10 agency for promoting local tourism. And thereafter, we collaborated closely with our local tour company, which was having difficulties because of the effects of COVID-19 pandemic. Our cooperative hired the employees who had been laid off by this tour company. And we later end up sharing our workspace with the company. Now, our two entities are growing together by complementing and supplementing each other, thereby making our strengths even stronger and refining our weakness in an atmosphere where we are virtually one entity and one family. In the beginning, we started with the merely city employees in our cooperative. But since then, we have grown 3 times in terms of revenue and the number of employees wanting to help vulnerable social groups. Furthermore, the number of local young entrepreneurs who like to work with us is increasing. Kiara left the EOC enterprise, the legacy of common good through mutual sharing without any considering in return. The world did not believe that such EOC principle could be implemented in the actual business operations. However, to those enterprises that believe that the foremost reason for the existence of an enterprise is not profit-making, but forming human relationship based on sharing. To those enterprises that believe this principle creates worthwhile value for our society, each day is a miracle full of God's providence. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mose.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stefano, for reading it out. So, and next one, we will have Teresa Ganzon from the Philippines.
Yes, we travel a little bit. Huh?
Yeah, we will travel south a little bit, okay, to the Philippines. And then she will tell us her banking experience on the unbankables. When I see the word unbankables, it triggers some curiosity there and how to practice inclusion. So here you go, Teresa.
Thank you. Okay. There.
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Teresa Ganzon, and I'm currently a director of Bangko Kabayan, a private development bank in the Philippines. When my husband, Francis, and I first heard of Kiara Challenge in 1991 to reorient businesses to be at the service of the common good, especially for the marginalized in society, to institutionalize the culture of giving, and to grow such a business for it to be sustainable, we were inspired to expand our one-unit rural bank, even if we ourselves were not bankers. Guided mostly by intuition and inspiration, a lot of faith and courage, and also with the help of another EOC enterprise, another new EOC enterprise that was into management training, we were able to open 8 branches. We were able to open 8 branches in a span of 6 years in the province where we were in, and to grow the enterprise in terms of resources 20 times over. We grew from 20 to 120 employees as well, and we changed the name of the bank to Bangko Kabayan to be able to, so we changed the name to Bangko Kabayan, and we built it on strategies of building and strengthening relationships within the organization and with our clients, establishing a reputation for transparency, integrity, and professionalism in order to earn the trust and support of the community we operated in. But the financial crisis of 1998 left the bank with a lot of failed loans and foreclosed properties, and we understood that we had to think out of the box and introduce new services or type of loans because collateral lending had proven to be a false assurance of repayment of loans. We needed to find a new strategy and a new product to help bring about recovery and transformation in the bank. We heard about microfinance in 2000, though it was in those years a financial activity that was largely undertaken by NGOs financed by grants. Very few banks had ventured into this, providing this as a regular service because they found it too tedious to monitor, seen to be high risk because the loans were unsecured, involved community building and field work, which bank workers were not accustomed to. But after a year of piloting the service in our foundation, we realized that if we would commit ourselves to changing our mindset, learning and understanding a method and structure that could build social capital of the lower income families to substitute hard collaterals, if we work hard to train not only a new breed of account officers who would be inspired community organizers as well, but also credit managers with eyes that recognize the values such as trust and reciprocity that could be guarantees for repayment, then we would have finally discovered a product that could transform not only the bank, but the whole organization and community as well. It was the economy of communion philosophy that helped us to persevere and keep faith amidst difficulties, inspired as we were by the desire to help the neighbors in need and to contribute to the development of the community. And continuing experiences strengthened the belief that not only could the poor pay, they could also save, given a mechanism that would facilitate their depositing, but in small but regular amounts in a bank. We began microfinance in 2000, and by 2019, we had reached almost 11,000 unbankables with an exposure of $6.6 million, with a past due rate of only 1.89%, or almost a 99% repayment rate, building about 400 centers in half of the groups. Our clients use their loans for working capital for micro businesses, helping send their children through school, improve their houses one room at a time, and they even learn the value of insurance. Now, in 2020, we began the year with a volcano eruption in our area that caused the temporary closure of 4 branches and affected half of the province badly. And we had not fully recovered from that when the African swine flu came and affected and killed many of the livestock in our province, which is a significant source of livelihood for many of our clients. Then a total lockdown in the whole country was proclaimed in March, prohibiting people from leaving their homes, especially seniors, many of whom were our microfinance clients. And up to the present, they are not allowed to go out except for essentials. There was, of course, the inevitable recession that followed due to the prolonged lockdown. And then, as if to end the year properly, we had 3 strong typhoons that hit our area in the last 2 weeks of December 2020. We had to write off about 4.7% of our exposure that had decreased to about 5 million due to certain clients and types of enterprises that could not operate anymore. But the bank's willingness to reduce its margins, to allow micro clients to recover through longer terms of repayment, has kept at least 70% of them able to remain open, able to pivot into providing other necessities under the new normal, able to survive the harsh economic environment. So, contrary to being unbankable, the lower income, often marginalized, largely women's sector of society, if recognized not for their lack, but for the wealth that they have, integrity, industriousness, resilience, ability to care and support one another, the ability to recognize and reciprocate trust in an institution that an institution has given them, the so-called unbankables can be one of the greatest assets of a financial institution. Their numbers create a mass of loyal base clients in the community. They contribute a healthy income to the bank, and the reciprocal relationship with the bank is a proof that an economy of communion is indeed possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Teresa. That is really inspiring. So now
we're traveling further But
Yes, we are.
back to my backyard, quite literally, in fact.
So do you want to introduce him then, John?
Hey, so we have coming up next, we have Lawrence Chong from Singapore who will be sharing with us. So let's hear what Lawrence has to share. Take it away, Lawrence.
Thank you. We are so glad that so many of you from different countries, professions, and faiths could join us today to launch the Economy of Communion Asia Pacific. Indeed, in this COVID-19 times, it makes even more sense to do this, to offer hope that there's another way to build the global economy together. Earlier, we heard that Chiara Lubich, who, by the way, was not an economist, but very much a humanist, launched the Economy of Communion, also known as EOC, in 1991. But actually, the roots of this idea went back much further, all the way back in 1943. The idea for the EOC was born not from theories and facts, but out of living a unique experience. Chiara soon, at the dawn of the Second World War, Chiara, as a Christian, decided to dedicate her life to God by taking on personal vows to be faithful only to God. However, as the war began, with all the horrors imaginable, she realized that the answer to overcoming such darkness was love for her neighbor. That meant practically to give your time to someone who has lost somebody. That meant giving bread and also visiting those vulnerable. A group of friends, young girls, soon gathered around her, and they did the same. And the community in Trent, in Italy at the time, was surprised that in this darkness, it is still possible to find such charity and joy. The people gave them a nickname called Fireplace, Italian Focolari, because they always brought such joy and hope. Chiara soon understood her mission, that above all, the greatest loss is not just material, but fraternity. She communicated this joy and mission to everyone. Soon, a large community attracted by this new sense of a human family gathered. The communists at that time heard of her fame and visited her. But Chiara's inspiration was more than just a fair distribution of goods. She wanted no compulsion. She believed in free will, fraternity, and the ability to embrace one's faith. The communists said that what she did, they would do even more than her. But Chiara was certain her ideal of a united world, based on love for neighbor, would prevail and is greater than what communism offered. I first heard about the concept of the Economy of Communion in 1992 as a youth attending an international meeting of the Focolari. I still remember that while some of my friends were focused on playing football, something stirred deep in my heart, and I understood that I heard something revolutionary, but I wasn't sure whether it would work. In 2004, when I started Consulus, an innovation by design firm, I began to understand what a gift the Economy of Communion is for me. In the early years of my company, I was the youngest, and we were from different professional backgrounds. Age-wise, I was 20 years younger than most of my partners. The four of us came from different faiths. One is a Muslim, another a Buddhist, and another a Protestant, and myself a Catholic. Understanding that EOC is about putting love first, the approach helped me as a young leader to bring my senior partners together, to resolve differences and to grow together. There is always this class system in the consulting world, that some professional practices are more important than others. But because we practice a culture of mutual love, this helped those in finance respect others' views. And it helped those in design learn from those in finance. Because of this trust, we built a unique consulting methodology that gave us a unique advantage. Usually, as a consulting firm, the most expensive commodity is time, because that is how a consultant earns his or her keep. But because we have developed such a unique culture based on mutual love, this code is written in our constitution. It became more comfortable and easier for me to explain to my senior partners why we are giving our time for a school without resources to help them. Why are we giving our time to help an association for ex-prisoners and many others? In the economy of communion, we believe in the concept of providence. That is, if you give out of love and for a good reason, you will receive 100-fold. And it is true for us in so many situations. When we give out of love and with good reason, we always have and continue to receive more in return, bigger projects, especially during years of uncertainty. The fact that we could grow to be present in 16 countries worldwide is proof that love for neighbor works. As we grew the company, I realized that companies' greatest poverty in all over the world is a lack of trust and hope. From the hundreds of workshops that we have done in 25 countries, from the Americas, Asia, Europe, and Oceania, the most important issue highlighted by the leaders and employees is the lack of trust and hope. 2 years ago, when we celebrated our 15th anniversary through a gala dinner, a business partner of a very big firm commented to me upon seeing our colleagues from different countries happily present a performance or experience for the evening. He said how he wished his company would have such a family atmosphere like Consulas. Listening to him, I was convinced even more that we need to let the world know more about the spirit of hope through living the precepts of the economy of communion. Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you.
So I would like to thank once again to all three speakers for sharing their life stories. It's true life stories, you know. We learned that their experiences are full of challenges, however, they strived with perseverance and faith on the economy of communion. And the outcome was fruitful and yet very inspiring. And I guess that may also echo with your experiences as well, everyone who's watching us today. Here comes the exciting moment. Everybody, we have a drum roll. John, can you do it? Okay, if you want to know how to join this wonderful organization, let's call upon Francisco Roble, who is always known to us as Kit. Kit is Executive Director of EOC Asia Pacific. He is going to share with us some important details about EOC Asia Pacific. Kit, over to you.
Okay, so I have to share my screen.
Yes, please do. Yes. Ooh.
Oh, excuse me. Hold on for a second. Something is wrong. Okay, now we can invite you to join our movement. And why do you need to become a member? If you are interested in the following, you can be a member. One is you believe that you can contribute to the shaping of a fairer economic system. You are keen to learn from other professionals and entrepreneurs on how to implement the economy of communion. And you want to receive tools, training, and aid to help you implement concepts of the economy of communion at work. And if you want to contribute towards amplifying the impact of the economy of communion in Asia. Who are these people? You can be considered as founding members who will help guarantee the sustainability of the commitment of EOC values and a significant contribution. The others can be the Economic Communion national body, like the one in the Philippines and in Korea. You can also be a corporate members, large, medium, and small enterprises. You can be in a public and non-profit institution, or in an academic institution, or you're just an individual in academia, politics, and civil society, or you are an entrepreneur, professional, or even students. Even the unemployed and the retiree can be a member of the economy of communion, which can contribute in kind for membership fee. So because of this, you have a pre-launch membership program, including the founding members, which is open to any person or enterprise practicing familiar with the practice of the economy of communion and is willing to provide the foundational support of EOC Asia Pacific. These founding members guarantee the existence in the years to come. Then there are existing EOC enterprises right now, like Bangko Kabayan, the enterprise of Mosi Park, and Consulus. The others can be individual members in entrepreneurship. Then right now, we are just concentrating on individual memberships who are professionals or employees, unemployed and retirees, and individual members as a person working in academia, government or non-profit organizations, or even as students. And all of this can participate and have a one vote in the coming Council Congress in May 2021. So for now, all membership fees are free for 2021, except for the founding members. And in this logo here, you click it, and it will go right away to the membership form, which you can apply. Teresa?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. I think I was stunned because I was too happy to have free membership anyway. Sorry, Kit.
Have you signed up yourself? Because I've already signed up.
I have. Of course I have. So
thank you, Kit, for the presentation, and I hope, right, that he's done just enough to convince you all out there, right, to join us on this very, very noble cause. And of course, we've almost come to the end of our time together. Before that, maybe Tess, Lawrence, would you like to say a few words to everyone before we end this session?
Okay, let me go ahead. I'm so overwhelmed. I think I speak for Lawrence and myself to say that we're overwhelmed by the number of participants that have attended this launch. We were already pleasantly surprised with the attendance in the founding assembly, and now it's even almost double that. And maybe I just want to say a big thanks to everyone, and also to say that EOC is a worldwide, it's a worldwide movement. It's not just in Asia Pacific, but we are part of an even bigger group, which is the EOC International. And just the other day, when we met, we were already planning on how we can do a global event come May, which is the 30th anniversary of the Economy of Communion. So please And we have an international website as well. So aside from that, which is Asia Pacific, particularly geared towards our needs here, then you can also refer to the EOC International website. So, and be part of a global family. Thank you. Lawrence?
Yes, it's true. We feel overjoyed and overwhelmed. I mean, this has been planned since 2016. And in a sense, COVID was providential in a small way to push us to, since we were stuck at home, we thought, you know, there's no better time to try and do this. I think in particular, I want to express my thanks to so many people working behind the scenes, the entire EOC Philippines Commission. So many have worked, you know, in the background to make sure that this can happen. And our wonderful MCs and the work that we do with the EOC Commission in Korea, I think in a very special way, this has been a fruit of our unity. But more than that, I want to highlight that we are now in the closing days of remembering the birth of Kiara Lubick, the 100 years. And I think in this moment, it's even more important to have something like the economy of communion. And what all of us are committed to do for every one of you is to be as concrete as possible. I think the time for ideas is already done. Now is the time for implementation. And I think hopefully, let us try to get, since the membership is free, right? Let us try to have 1,000 members by May. And I think it's easy because everyone can join. And I remember someone shared with me that actually in 1991 in Brazil, when the economy of communion was launched, did you know that everyone could be a member, right? Just that over time, people thought that only entrepreneurs or businesses, but actually in 1991, and they even had a membership card. But now, of course, concern for the environment, we will not produce any more plastic. So you wear your membership by living, right? So I think with that, if we can try to invite, if you notice, we have a category for unemployed and retirees. So there's really no excuse. You don't even need to have money, but you just need to be able to say yes to this great idea. So once again, grateful for everyone's presence. And I think from now, the work really begins fall over. And see you all. We are going to organize a series of talks for those in academia, for those who are young professionals. We are also going to start language groups. And I think it's significant that we have our friends, our community from Korea, from China, we have from Indonesia, we have all the different languages. And I think we will need help when we organize EOC Asia Pacific to make sure that the languages work. We want to apologize that we try as best as we can to make sure everyone can understand, but you know, technology, when you want it to work, it doesn't work. So we will try to see how we can best improve the experience going forward. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Lawrence and
you.
Teresa.
Thank you.
So before that, I will still have to show us this very important screen of this one. So if you have not scanned this QR code, you can do this now. I'm going to leave it for 10 seconds. Okay?
I will count the 10 seconds, right?
Thank you.
Open it up. 10, 9, 8. It's so pressurizing, right? It's trying to get you. Come on. Scan that, right? I believe the scan function is at the top of your phone somewhere, right?
If you do not have it, doesn't matter because we will be sending out emails and also the link of the form to you as well. If not, don't worry because you can always go to our today freshly launched EOC Asia Pacific website at www.eocasiapacific.org. So in there, I've already browsed it. It's very, very beautifully done. And then you can see all this information and how to become a member. Click in to get the form and also all the things that we mentioned to you just now. You can always go there and the video as well. You can watch it again. So
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you
thank
all
everyone.
again.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you all again. Time flies when it's really great.
Definitely.
Joy being with everybody. And even if you are watching this live on Facebook, you are with us, okay? You are with us. We've come to the end of today's launch of EOC Asia Pacific. In fact, I think this is not the end, but it's just a beginning. A beginning because together we commit to live and spread this economy of love, the spirit of economy of communion, wherever we are as a big family of EOC and also EOC Asia Pacific, until no one is the victim of the economic system.
And thank you once again to every single one of you out there for spending this time with us here. You're going to find out more about the EOC and the EOC Asia Pacific, and to be a part, of this, being a part of this historical day. So remember to sign up. Yes, sign up. It's not difficult to scan that QR code or to see your meals later. Sign up, and we'll see you all really soon in a country or a Zoom near you. With that, I'm Jonathan Francis from Singapore, and that's Teresa Go, Malaysia. On behalf of everyone here, signing off, and we'll catch you soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.